And audible also? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Okay,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay, very good. So, yesterday we discussed about the hydrostatic equation, right? And how many of you remember what is the hydrostatic balance? Can somebody tell what is the hydrostatic balance? Hydrostatic balance. Can somebody say? Deepak, what is the hydrostatic balance? Am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible? Hello? Am I audible and visible? No?
Yes, sir.
No
Yes,
response.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm audible and visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Clearly. So I just
Yes.
asked who can define what is the hydrostatic balance? We discussed about it yesterday. Can somebody define what is the hydrostatic balance? Vijit, can you define what is the hydrostatic balance?
Sir, the atmosphere have mass, and due to the mass, atmosphere actually exerts pressure on the Earth's surface, and
Mhm.
due to the pressure, there is a gradient force is developed, which is the pressure gradient force. And
Right.
when we actually see the vectors of that forces, if the pressure
Mhm.
gradient force is upward, that is called the hydrostatic balance.
Well, you have said, but in a proper form, we can simply say that hydrostatic balance is the balance between pressure gradient force and the gravitational force. Okay. Hydrostatic
Yes.
balance is the balance between pressure gradient force, which is upward, and the gravitational force of the Earth, which is downward. Right? So there is a balance between the pressure gradient force and the Earth's gravitational force, and that balance is called the hydrostatic balance. Okay,
Balance.
right? Clear? So
Yes.
whether hydrostatic balance exists everywhere on the Earth's surface? Yes or no? Whether the hydrostatic balance exists everywhere in the Earth's surface? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Who is that? Is that Barsa? Who said?
And Sri Lakshmi, sir.
Oh, Sri Lakshmi. Yeah, you said no, right?
Yes, sir.
So, under what circumstances the hydrostatic balance is not valid? Sri Lakshmi?
Because the gravitational force is not constant throughout the Earth's surface. So,
Because the gravitational force is what? Not
constant,
constant. Is
sir.
that because of that? No.
No,
Well, gravitational force is almost same to, I mean, to a large depth of the atmosphere. Almost when you exceed the, say, 100 kilometer mesosphere, exosphere, the gravitational force does not change much unless
but
you go too high, like the space
in
station
equator
rocket.
and poles, gravitational force changes, no, sir.
Yeah, but then that variation is almost insignificant. Okay, that is variation
Yes,
is
sir.
almost. Yesterday I explained it to you that the hydrostatic balance exists for the large scale atmosphere. Okay, for the large scale atmospheric motion, the hydrostatic balance exists. But for small scale atmospheric motions, for example, those in a cyclonic circulation, or in a cyclonic storm, or in a thunderstorm, where there is a very strong upward motion. Okay, in a thunderstorm, for example, or in a cyclonic storm, there are very strong upward motion. And in such situation, the hydrostatic balance is not valid. Okay, got it? Yes or no?
Sir, no, sir.
No?
Can you repeat that, please?
Now, I said that the hydrostatic balance is valid generally for the large scale atmospheric motion, for the large scale atmospheric system. But it is not valid for the small scale atmospheric systems. For example, in cyclone, there is a very strong upward motion, very strong updrafts, or for a severe thunderstorm, there is a very strong updrafts. So in such situation, the hydrostatic balance is not valid. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Sir.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why when we use the model, the numerical models of atmosphere, we have to treat the entire equation of the vertical motion for dealing with cyclonic storms or thunderstorms. And in that case, our models are non-hydrostatic. We call non-hydrostatic models. Okay, but for the large scale synoptic situation, and when I say large scale synoptic situation, probably you may not know that what is large scale synoptic situation. Maybe it will be taught to you in the dynamic meteorology class later on in atmospheric dynamics, probably you will know it later. But have you been told what is the large scale synoptic situation? Have you been told about this? Yes or no? Not yet?
Is it, sir, when we take the atmosphere as a whole thing and we take the average? So,
Okay, no, not like that. Actually, the atmospheric systems are of different scales, different horizontal scales, and different time scales. Okay, you will study somewhere in the class lines of the subjects. The atmospheric systems are of different horizontal scales and different time scale, different lifetime. Okay, sometimes the atmospheric systems can be very large, like planetary waves. Planetary waves, right? Those waves or the wavelength of such planetary waves are thousands of kilometers, right? The wavelength of the planetary waves are thousands of kilometers. I mean, you will learn later on in the subject that there are so many types of waves that exist in the atmosphere. One of the most important wave we call the Rossby wave. Rossby wave. You will study about that later on. Rossby wave. And typical horizontal scale of the Rossby waves is about 1,000 kilometer wavelength. The wavelength of the Rossby wave is about 1,000 kilometer. Okay. Whereas there are small scale waves like gravity waves that also occurs in the atmosphere, whose length scale, horizontal length scale is very small. Every system has a typical horizontal scale and lifetime or time scale. For example, a cloud, okay, a single cloud, individual cloud, okay, an individual convective cloud. I say convective cloud. There are many types of clouds, right? I say convective cloud, like cumulus. Yeah, have you heard about the cumulus cloud? Name of the cumulus cloud?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the typical horizontal scale of a cumulus cloud is about 1 to 10 kilometer. How much? 1 to 10 kilometer. Okay. A typical thunderstorm also has a scale of 1 to 10 kilometer cumulonimbus cloud. Whereas when the clouds are clustered together, there are many clouds, convective clouds, which are clustered together like in a square line, like in a nor'wester. Have you heard about the nor'wester? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like in a nor'wester or in a square line, or we call mesoscale convective systems. Or for example, tropical cyclone. Tropical cyclones are a spiraling band of strong wind and clouds, isn't it? And it has got a typical radius, right? Radius of the cyclone. We call radius of the cyclone, right? Even the current cyclone, which was Nivar, which hit Tamil Nadu yesterday, day before yesterday, had a radius, right? If you see the image of the tropical cyclone from satellite, you will see that there is a circular spiraling band of clouds, right? And they got a radius. There is an eye at the center, and there is a radius of the circulation, and that radius is typically 2 to 300 kilometer. In extreme case, it can be 4 to 500 kilometer, but usually about 2 to 300 kilometer radius of the cyclone. Okay, so in such systems whose horizontal scale is small, and when we talk about the atmospheric science, now we always mean the systems whose scales, horizontal scales, are sometimes several hundred kilometer or sometimes 1,000 kilometer. There are small scale systems also, like I said, a cloud, individual collective cloud, which can have a scale of 1 to 10 kilometer. Okay. So these systems are classified according to their horizontal length scale and also the time scale. They also have a vertical scale, right? So the large scale system, when we say in the atmosphere, the large scale systems have their horizontal scale of thousands of kilometers. For example, you have heard about the Western disturbance. Have you heard about the Western disturbance? Yes or no? Am I
Yes,
audible
sir.
to
No,
all?
sir.
No? You have not heard, or you are not, I'm not audible?
Sir, both.
Both. Oh, I see. Still not clear, huh? Is it like that?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
So sometimes it's clear, sometimes not clear. Like
I
this.
see. So still my internet is fluctuating. Is it the same situation to all the students, or only to few of you? Others?
Sir.
What about others?
Yes, sir. It's breaking sometimes, and
Breaking
it's
sometimes.
okay,
So
sir.
today the quality of my internet is not good. So what I was saying is that the large scale systems, like say I was asking whether you have heard of Western disturbance. Anybody? Western disturbance? No?
Yes, sir. But
Well,
No, sir.
nowadays Western disturbance has become a very popular, like in television, when they present the weather, or whenever there is a system, weather system, say for example in the winter season, whenever it rains heavily in the winter season, we call it because of the Western disturbance. And you will study about the Western disturbance, the structure, the pattern, later in some other subject. But Western disturbances are like eastward moving waves or westerly waves coming from the west. Okay, it forms somewhere over the Mediterranean Sea. Have you heard about the Mediterranean Sea?
yes,
Yes
sir.
or no? Yeah, somewhere,
Yes, sir.
somewhere in the
Yes, sir.
Caspian Sea, Mediterranean Sea. Its origin is from that region, and it is a wave in the westerly which forms because of the so-called baroclinicity in the atmosphere, and it propagates towards east. Okay, so they are westerly systems, and when they come over Pakistan and then India, it gives a lot of weather, gives lots of weather, and that's called the Western disturbance because it comes from the west. Okay, you will study about that in detail later on. So these kind of Western disturbances are like a manifestation of the so-called Rossby waves of the atmosphere. Okay, if you analyze the wind pattern of the whole globe, of the whole Earth, you will find that at any given time, on any given day, there are about 4 to 5 waves which are circling around the Earth in the atmosphere, typically at the higher altitude, around 200 millibar or so, at the altitude of about 10, 11 kilometer, 12 kilometer above the ground. You will find that there are about 4 to 5 westerly waves encircling or propagating around the earth all the time. Okay, and they are the Rossby waves. Okay, so the western disturbance is a manifestation of the Rossby waves whose horizontal scale is about 1000 kilometer. 1000 kilometer. Okay, monsoon, for example. Everybody knows about the monsoon, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, everybody knows about the
Yes, sir.
Yes,
monsoon.
sir.
Yes, monsoon. Monsoon is a large scale synoptic system. Monsoon is a large scale synoptic system. If you look at the scale of the monsoon, it spans over thousands of kilometers. It spans over thousands of kilometers. So monsoon is a large scale synoptic system. Western disturbance is a large scale synoptic system, whose scale is horizontal scale is about 1000 kilometers. There are even bigger waves having bigger wavelength, like we call planetary scale systems, whose scale is more than 10,000 kilometers. 10,000 kilometers. Okay, horizontal scale. So they are very large scale system. Whereas, as I said, there can be very small scale systems like gravity waves, like thunderstorms, like cyclones. Okay, so the hydrostatic balance, which I was telling you, the hydrostatic balance is valid for the large scale systems, but not for the small scale systems. Clear? Was I clear?
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Yeah.
is there any imbalance due to the moon's gravity?
Is any what?
Any in hydrostatic balance? Is there any change due to the moon's gravitational force?
Your voice has some echo, I mean, some kind of noise. Is there any gravitational force? Is there what?
Moon's gravitational force. Moon.
Can you just type on the chat box? Type on the chat box. Will you be able to type on the, I mean, type on the chat box? Has anybody heard him clearly? What Prasov has asked?
No, sir.
Prasov has asked something. Not clear. Prasov, can you type? Is there any changes due to moons? Okay. Okay. Prasov, your question is there any change due to moon's gravity wave, right? Moon's gravity wave. Well, moon's gravity wave does not have significant effect on atmospheric systems, but it does have effect on the ocean waves and tides. Okay, Prasov.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir.
moon's gravity wave does not have significant impact on the atmospheric system, but it has impact on the ocean waves and tides. As you might have heard, we have got high tides and low tides, right? So for the oceanography, no, yes, it has some effect, but not in the atmospheric systems. Okay,
Okay, sir.
is that clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so I was just telling you that the hydrostatic balance is valid for the large scale atmospheric systems like monsoon, like the western disturbances, like the Rossby waves, etc. But it is not valid for the small scale systems like individual clouds or thunderstorms or cyclones. Okay. So anyway, that was a deviation from the yesterday's or further explanation of the yesterday's topic that we discussed yesterday on hydrostatic equation, right? All right. So coming back to today's topic, we are going to discuss about the geopotential. Geopotential. Am I audible and visible clearly? Yes or no?
Yes,
Is my
Yes, sir.
screen visible? My screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me when I'm not clear. Okay. So geopotential is another very important parameter which we use in atmospheric science or meteorology for many purposes very frequently. Okay. And what is this geopotential? This geopotential generally denoted by phi at any point in the Earth's surface on the Earth's atmosphere is defined as the work that must be done against the Earth's gravitational field to raise a mass of 1 kilogram from sea level to that point. Okay, clear? Yes or no? The geopotential at any point above the Earth's surface in the atmosphere is the work that must be done against the Earth's gravitational field to raise a mass of 1 kilogram from sea level to that point. And that is called the geopotential. Okay? Is this PowerPoint visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thus, the unit of the geopotential is generally is joules per kilogram, or it is written in meter square per second square. This is the unit of the geopotential, meter square per second square. Okay. The work in raising 1 kilogram from height Z to height Z plus dz is G dz. Okay. You have heard about, I mean, you have studied the work done in the physics, right? Work. You have heard about you have read about the work, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Capacity, energy. Right. So the work done in raising 1 kilogram from a height Z to height Z plus dz is G dz, where G is the acceleration due to gravity and dz is the depth of the atmosphere through which the 1 kilogram is raised from the surface. And therefore, the geopotential, change in geopotential d phi is equal to G times dz. Okay, the change in geopotential is equal to G times dz. Now, by using the hydrostatic equation that we discussed yesterday, using the hydrostatic equation, if you recall from yesterday's class, the hydrostatic equation says G dz is equal to minus alpha dp. Okay, where alpha is the specific volume. Alpha is the specific volume. dz is given by is equal to minus alpha dp from the hydrostatic equation. So if you substitute this in this one, we get d phi is equal to minus alpha dp. Okay, the change in geopotential is equal to minus alpha dp. Okay, let's say this is equation number 1. Now the geopotential phi z at a height z is thus given by integrating this equation. You can get phi at z. You just integrate this equation from 0 to z equal to G dz. Okay, G dz. This is the geopotential at any height z. Okay, so yesterday or day before yesterday, I was talking about the isobaric surfaces, right? Isobaric layers in the atmosphere. If you recall, I was discussing about the isobaric layers. Like in the surface, what is the typical pressure at the Earth's surface? What is the typical pressure?
1 ATM.
How much?
1 ATM, sir.
118 at the Earth's surface. 118 watt. What is the unit?
Sir, it's 1013 hectopascal.
Yes, exactly. It's 1013 hectopascal. That is the typical sea level pressure, right? Also, that is called 1 atmosphere. 1 atmosphere. That is the unit sometimes utilized to indicate the pressure. So 1 atmosphere is equal to 1013 hectopascal or millibar. Okay. So as you go up, I was explaining to you yesterday, as you go up, then the pressure decreases and you can have imaginary surfaces of isobars. Like at certain altitude above the ground, there will be isobaric surface of 900 millibar. Right? At the surface, let's say we have 1013 millibar. And that is a kind of a mean sea level pressure, but it can vary from place to place and also with time. Okay. So as you go up, the pressure will decrease and you can have an imaginary isobaric surface of 900 millibar. If you further go up, you will find an imaginary isobaric surface of 850 millibar. Right? Typically, the height of the 850 millibar isobaric surface is about 1.5 kilometer above the ground. 1.5 kilometer above the ground. But it can vary from place to place. Right? Height of the isobaric surfaces. Okay. So we indicate or we denote the height of the isobaric surfaces both in terms of the geometric height Z or in terms of the geopotential phi. Okay, we indicate the height of the isobaric surfaces. Isobaric surface, isobars means what is isobar? Isobar. Define what is isobar. Define what is isobar.
Areas of constant pressure.
Yes, the line of constant pressure. Okay, a surface of constant pressure is isobaric surface. Okay, so in the atmosphere, you can imagine a atmospheric layer where pressure is everywhere, 850 millibar, or let us say 500 millibar. If you go further high, about 5 kilometers above the ground, you will find the atmospheric pressure to be about 500 millibar, which will vary from place to place depending on what is the surface pressure at that point. Okay, so you are imagining a isobaric surface in the atmosphere where the pressure is same everywhere. That is, say, for example, 500 millibar, and so on. If you go further high, you will have imaginary pressure surface of 200 millibar, 100 millibar, and so on. Okay, so the height of the isobaric surfaces generally we denote in terms of the geopotential, also in terms of the geometric height, of course. So this can be found by this expression. Okay, phi z, the geopotential height at any altitude z is the integration from g0 to z, g dz. Okay, this is the geopotential height. Now we can also define a quantity called the geopotential height z as z is equal to phi z divided by, from this equation it comes phi z divided by g0, where g0 is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, acceleration due to, and we treat this as a constant. So we just write as g0, and this is equal to 1 by g0, and substitute phi z from here, so it becomes 0 to z, g z. So this is the geopotential height. This is the geopotential height of any isobaric surface, and this is the geopotential. Okay. In meteorological practice, it is not convenient to deal with the density of a gas rho, the value of which is generally not measured. We don't measure generally the density of the gases everywhere in the atmosphere because it can vary, okay, according to the altitude. Okay, so by using the equation of a state, you remember the equation of a state, P is equal to rho RT, where rho is the density, R is the gas constant, and T is the temperature. By using this equation of a state, in this equation, this is the hydrostatic equation. If you recall yesterday, this is the hydrostatic equation, same as here, this one or this one, in different forms. Okay, we can write del P by del Z is equal to minus G times rho. This is the hydrostatic equation that we also studied yesterday, discussed yesterday. Okay, so by using the equation of a state in the hydrostatic equation, we get del P by del Z is equal to minus PG divided by RT, and which is equal to minus PG divided by RdTV, where the RD is the gas constant for dry air, and TV is the virtual temperature. Okay, TV is the virtual temperature. Now, by rearranging the last expression and using this equation number 1, okay, we can get d phi is equal to g dz equal to minus RT dP by P, and which is equal to minus RD times TV times dP by P, where TV is the virtual temperature, okay, RD is the gas constant for the dry air. Okay, so this is the expression of the geopotential that we can get by using the equation of a state and the hydrostatic equation. Now, if we integrate between pressure levels P1 and P2 with geopotentials phi1 and phi2 respectively, we can get from phi 1 to phi 2, integration from phi 1 to phi 2 of d phi is equal to minus of integration from P1 to P2 surface RD dV dP by P. Okay, just integrate this equation. And then we can get phi 2 minus phi 1. Phi 2 minus phi 1 is equal to minus RD times P1 to P2 dV dP. RD we have treated constant and taken out of this integration. So this is equal to minus RD integration from P1 pressure level P1 to pressure level P2 dV dP by T. Okay. Now dividing both sides of the last equation by G0 and reversing the limits of the integration yields Z2 minus Z1, where Z2 is the geometric height of or geopotential height. Okay, is equal to RD by G0 integration from P2 to P1 dV dP. Okay. Oh, this is, let us say, this is equation number 2. This difference Z2 minus Z1 is referred to as the geopotential thickness of the layer between pressure levels P1 and P2. This is the thickness, geopotential thickness of the layer between pressure level P1 and P2. Okay. All right. So this geopotential thickness is a very, very important parameter. The geopotential thickness can indicate that how is the state of the atmosphere, whether we are going to get a high pressure area or whether there is a low pressure area, and accordingly we can also interpret in terms of whether it is going to be good or whether it is going to be bad by looking at the value of the thickness, geopotential thickness, or variation of the geopotential thickness with time. We can get the idea of how will be the situation of the atmosphere or weather, okay, at a given time or at a given place. Okay, geopotential thickness. So this geopotential thickness can be obtained from this equation. Okay. So next, let's discuss about the scale height. We have discussed about the scale height earlier, I think 2-3 days ago. Do you remember we have discussed about the scale height earlier? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can somebody define what is the scale height, if you remember? Who can define what is the scale height of the atmosphere? Yes, are you there? There was. Are you able? Who can define? So, can you define what is the scale height? No.
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
Everybody is silent. But we discussed about this 2 days ago. Do you recall that? Do you go through the video lectures, which I give you the link, or do you go through the books? Have you started reading the books or not yet? Everybody has downloaded the books, right? Has everybody downloaded the books? Last time I thought about this, most of you had downloaded the textbooks, except I have not asked Rahul. Rahul, are you there? Rahul, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you get the textbooks? जो मैंने textbooks इस subject का जो textbook है, तुमको
sir.
मिला textbook? Not yet.
No, sir.
Well, actually, have you got the syllabus?
Yes, sir, from website.
हाँ, syllabus के end में textbook भी लिखा हुआ है, reference textbooks.
Okay, sir.
Okay, हर एक subject के जो syllabus है, उस syllabus के last में textbook भी लिखा हुआ है. Okay, go through that. And
Okay, sir.
I had discussed about this in the second class, दूसरी class जो तुम नहीं थे उस time में, हमने textbook के बारे में discuss किया था. And most people said that they have downloaded the textbooks. It is freely available on the internet, most of the textbooks. Okay, so see that, Rahul, those textbooks and download. If you are not able to download, ask your friends now, any of them. I believe most of you
Okay, sir.
have. सबको है ना, Barsa and Deepak and everybody has the textbook, right? Sri Lakshmi,
Yes,
you have got
sir.
the textbook. Yeah. Sri Lakshmi,
Yes, sir.
have you got the textbooks? Yeah.
Yes,
Downloaded the
some of-
textbooks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, some of. Yeah, most of you last time when I asked you, at least for this subject, most of the textbooks are available online freely and most of you have downloaded. So Rahul, तुम्हें भी डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा. पहले देख लो क्या सब टेक्स्ट बुक है एंड डाउनलोड करो. अगर नहीं मिल रहा है तो अपने फ्रेंड से पूछो. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Ask any of your friends. Okay?
Okay,
They can
sir.
mail you or they can share you the soft copy of that. Okay? So मैं ये कह रहा था कि जो चीज मैं डिस्कस कर चुका हूँ 2 दिन पहले, the things which I discussed 2-3 days ago, it seems you are not studying that. Like I am asking what is the scale height and everybody is silent, which I discussed a few days ago. That means that you are not studying the books or not, you are not, even I had given you the PowerPoint of the first few lecture. And you are not looking at the PowerPoint also, it seems. Okay. See, I mean, if you are not in the university, if you are not in the hostel, it doesn't mean that you should be more relaxed at home. At home also, you must read and study. Okay. See how much pain we are taking. We are taking all the pains to ensure that all the classes are conducted and all of you learn. Okay. You have to also do the same kind of preparation and study. Okay. You have to do the same hard work. Even during the online classes also, you have to do the hard work, you have to study. Just imagine if you were in the campus here, don't you think that you would have studied these books, going to the library, or even studying in your room? Would you do that? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. If you were in the campus, everybody would have studied the books, either in the hostel, the downloaded version from in your laptop, or by going to the hostel, going to the library, right? So same thing you have to do at your home also, because the only difference now is that we are not able to see physically each other, but otherwise we are taking all the pains to ensure that all the classes are conducted, right? And probably this may be one of the very few universities where all the classes are going on regularly. Remind you that not all the universities take all the classes so regularly. See, many times the teachers are missing, teachers themselves are absent, right? But this is not the case in this university. All the classes are held. Okay, and we make sure that the syllabus is complete. ऐसा नहीं कि आधा पढ़ा करके छोड़ देते हैं. It's not like that. We always try to ensure that the syllabus is covered and everybody has to give an answer. As you are answerable, that your attendance is not 75%, that you are not allowed in the examination. Similarly, we are also answerable. If we don't take the classes, for each subject, there is a credit hour, right? You know how much credit hour this subject is? How many credits? This subject का कितना credit है? Tell me. How many credits?
So 5.
No, it's 4 credit course. This
4
subject,
credits.
there are sometimes this is a 4 credit course. Generally, the courses are 3 or 4 credit. Sometimes it can be less. 5 credit course बहुत कम होता है. Okay, very less subjects which are 5 credit. But generally there are 3 to 4 credits. Sometimes it can be less also. Yeah, I mean in the last semester you can have a final year project. It can be 20 credit. Whole semester you will be doing just the project work. Like in the final semester, the entire semester you will be working on the project. So one subject will be your project work and that will be 20. Now in the current syllabus that also hasn't changed. Now in addition to the project work, you also have to study I think 1 or 2 subjects in the final semester also. Even then, that is the only semester in which one single course will have more than 10 credits. But otherwise, generally, in each semester, each course will have about 3 to 4 credits, and sometimes less also. Like there are some from this year more courses like physical fitness, etc., etc. So that is about it. So what I was saying is that depending upon how much credit the course has, that many classes have to be completed. Like this is a 4 credit course. There must be 4 hours of lecture in a week. Rahul, you missed these things in the beginning. I discussed all these things in the beginning in the initial classes. Okay. So a 4 credit our course means 4 hours lectures in a week. And typically in a semester, 1 credit course has about 15 hours of lecture in entire semester. So the 4 credit hour course is 4 into 15, 60 hours of lectures. Typically, in the entire semester, there will be typically 60 hours of lecture in a 4 credit course. And we try to ensure that 60 hours of lecture is delivered, maybe plus minus 1 or 2 hours, that is a different thing. But we ensure that much of lectures are delivered, syllabus is completed. And mind you, not all the universities take so seriously these things. I heard that many universities, sometimes colleges, the classes are not held. Teachers are missing. The students are also missing. It happens, but it's not so in this university. Okay, and that's why it is on number 1 among all the central universities. Among all the central universities for which this UCT has been conducted, this Central University of Rajasthan is on the number 1 forefront because of these things only. That the classes are taken very seriously, the examinations are taken very seriously. Okay, everything is on regular, on time. This year, situation is unusual. Sir Lakshmi is not able to hear me. Again, I don't know what is the reason. Am I not audible to all? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but Sri Lakshmi has some problem. So yeah, what I was telling you that in this university everything is held as per the academic calendar, okay, on time. But this year is unusual because of the COVID situation. Otherwise, just imagine if it was a regular situation, all of you would have been in campus, and there was no question of bunking the classes. Now I see the people are missing. Out of 17, 4 are missing, and generally I see that most of the time 3 to 4 students are absent. That would not have happened if you were in the campus. So if we are taking so much of pain to ensure that classes are held, you also take the same pain that you study all the lectures. Okay, we are giving you extra opportunity by providing you the recorded version of the lecture. Okay, so make use of that extra opportunity. Study the subjects which are taught in the previous class, right? And if you study regularly, it will be good for you at the end, right? And the teacher will not have to repeat, like I'm asking what is the scale height, and everybody is silent. Though I know that we had discussed about the scale height, in the previous classes. So everybody is silent because nobody is studying, right? So this should not happen. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. This should not happen. I should not repeat the thing which I have already taught. Okay, I can repeat it just for refreshment, but in that case, you should come up. You should tell that what is that. When I'm asking what is the scale height, then you should come up. Okay, so that means that all of you must study regularly. Okay, all of you must study regularly. If you have doubt, you go and view the PowerPoint. You go and view the recorded lecture. That is extra opportunity you have, and all the books that you have already downloaded. Okay, so do that, and I think I have already exceeded the time. Is already 1:36 now. So today we have to stop here. Okay, I'll stop the presentation, and I'll also stop the recording. Okay, so do you have any question? Is anybody having any question?